And so we called a community meeting and we invited a lot of people, and I remember the day very well. We had 33 people came that day. It's the last time I saw Billy Blake. He was there. And 33 different voices said, we have known this has been going on for a long time, and it is about time we did something. Let's go. Right? So, and here's what we want you to add in that report. We want to add this. We want you to think about that. And so we took all that information. And that report is now on the Indian Women's Resource Center website. But it was a game changer. Because we not only did the report, we started doing direct service. We started asking women, had they ever had to trade sex for shelter? And when they did, we said, you were a victim of a crime. Just reframe the whole thing. You know, the name of a prostitute, that is not something we should be using. We don't call battered women batteries. So why do we assign the crime, why do we assign the name of the crime to the person? So we just wanted to change the language, reclaim the language, and begin to do healing work in community, and also doing amazing work at the state legislature with a lot of power for allies. So what I want to say is how far we've come in 10 years. In 10 years, when nobody would even listen to what I had to say, when nobody would even acknowledge that sex trafficking of Native women was going on, to today, when we have federal resources, when we have, how many of you were at the march today? I mean, it was amazing how many people were there. It was the biggest crowd ever. It was on the news tonight, so there's more and more recognition, and there's more and more awareness, and now there's more and more healing services. And so the work that I do now is to try and bring those healing practices into community, and try and support our elders and others who are doing the healing work. And that's where we will gain our power back, is to really take the time to learn how we can heal ourselves through ceremony, through practices that have meaning to us. And that gives us our power back. And that's how we will change this. So I thank you so much. And I'm so grateful to the beautiful singers and the drum and all this beautiful artwork here. I appreciate it very much, that it touches my heart. And that's all I have. Thank you so much.
Hey everybody doing this. This is Lorenzo of the Unicorn Riot. This is the All My Relations gallery, and we have a Bring Her Home MMIW exhibit that we're going to show you today. So thanks for joining us.
Bring up our guest curator, Angela Two Stars. This is her second year doing this exhibit. She did it last year too, and it was just fantastic. So if you'll come up and say a couple words about the show and work in the art.
Thank you for coming. I'm a little speech on my phone, so I might have to refer to that. Well, I just want to thank you guys for coming out on Valentine's Day for Bring Her Home 2019. I want to thank All My Relations Arts, NACD, for inviting me back to curate this show because, you know, honestly, when they asked me to come back to curate from last year, I thought, you know, like honestly, it's like I'm gonna strike again because last year's show was so amazing, and it was, you know, such a great experience for me to be able to have the artists respond the way that they did, and to replicate that. I wondered, like, is that possible? Can we make a show as good as last year? And yes, we can. And here we are. I just want to thank the artists that contributed to this year's show because it is amazing. It's incredible. I'm so honored for the bravery and courage that these artists have shown in creating this work that's so deep and so personal to them. I know I saw Choling just walk in. If there's any other artists that are here, can you please come up and join me? These are who made the show what it is. These artists that, you know, took from their own personal experiences to be able to share with the audience, so the way that we can experience this and be able to raise awareness to this ongoing epidemic and also promote hope and healing. And these guys did an incredible job. Thank you guys so much. So I had something I wanted to share. You know how women are. I was thinking about getting ready for tonight, and and I didn't know what to wear. You know, when you got a big event, you think like, oh, should I get an outfit? Should I wear something red? You know, because that's the color that symbolizes, you know, this subject. And in the end, I decided to go with this purple shirt, because purple is my favorite color. And I decided to go with this necklace because it was gifted to me by my stepmom and my dad. And my stepmom told me that anytime I wear this necklace, that I'm representing my family. And I have this bracelet here that my son gave me as a birthday present. And I'm wearing this rhythm skirt that my mom made me. And I screen printed it and put a language onto it because, you know, through our language and our culture is how we heal. And I'm wearing, you know, my wedding ring that my husband gave to me almost 7 years ago. And I put all of these on tonight to symbolize that I am somebody's mother, and I am somebody's aunt, and I am somebody's sister, and I am somebody's wife, and I'm somebody's daughter. And that is the same as all the women who show that this show is honoring. They were somebody's mother, they were somebody's daughter, somebody's friend. And that was something that was so important for me, is to be able to highlight that, because their memories are still with us. We still care about them, we still love them, we still miss them. So, you know, we do go through hard times, and we do have this epidemic that's affecting us. You know, we have these dire statistics that our women face. Yeah, and you know, myself personally have gone through hard times, you know, even just through the process of this show. You know, my parents were worried about me just a few weeks ago because of the hard times that I was going through. So, but I had to stay strong. I had to put on a brave face for my children. I had to push through, and that's something that our Native women have to do. We put on that brave face, and we keep functioning through the hard times. We do not allow the bad things that happen to us define who we are. Because we are strong, we are resilient, we're beautiful, and we're life givers. So being part of the show is very emotional. Just this morning, I had to have myself have a good cry. I've been able to, you know, experience this work in pieces. So for the audience to come in and get it all at once, you know, this is a very emotional subject, and that's okay. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to cry. It's okay to miss these women. No matter how much time has gone by, we still think about them, we still remember them, we still get emotional about them. And that's the most important thing for me, for being part of this show, is to not forget who these women were, to not forget their names, and not forget what they meant to us and their memories that we treasure forever. So thank you all for coming out tonight. I do hope you enjoy the show. Thank you for having us here. Good night.
Chibigwich, thank you for the songs, thank you for the words. I have to say a great big thank you to our staff here at NACT who helped make the show happen, who did phenomenal work at the organization. The whole staff is here: Robert Lagarde, Ed Minima, Alexander Buffalohead, Elizabeth Day, and Rory Leakema. Thank you very much. Oh, and we get one more song. Thank you.
Okay, again, everybody who's joining us, we are in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Earlier, we were at the march. I told you we were going to bring you to an art gallery here called All My Relations Art, where they're having an opening of like a murdered and missing indigenous women, sort of like themed "Bring Her Home." Stolen Daughters of Turtle Island. Here, Will. Is the name of the exhibit here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. All My Relations Gallery. We have one more song.
This next song we're going to sing is a memorial song, and the words translate to everywhere you're going, everywhere you are, the Spirit is with you.
Again, we're going to take you around, look at some of the artwork in here as well, and then we'll kind of our coverage of MMIW events in the Twin Cities. So I brought you to 3 different places. I wanted you to take a look at sort of all the organizing that's been going on.
Bonjour, Idas Gay Queen in Shirikaz, Idad Moi Queen in Shirikaz, Easy Nindoven, Uswagani in Dunjaba. I just wanted to say thank you, the Siganak singers. We are extremely happy and honored.
They're going to do a prayer, so I'm going to step out really quick. Alright, so they're going to do a prayer. I can't film the prayer, so I got to leave. So I'm going to show you this area, I guess. Again, so we're at the All My Relations Art Gallery.
There's friction on the plate until this doesn't move anymore.
And then I'm going to show you the flyer here. Alright, just want to step out really quick. Can we go back in?
You got one scoop. I did, yeah. Good job. Excellent.
Alright, here. So I'm going to take you around here and look at all the exhibits in a second. I'm going to try to talk to the curator really quick. Again, this is Lorenzo, your host. We are here in Minneapolis, Minnesota, still kind of following all these different events. We're going to come back and show you the... Bring Her Home, Sullen Daughters of Turtle Island is the exhibit name. And you can see there's a bunch of different paintings, a bunch of different art, a variety of just different kind of multimedia. And then you have the artist names. So my mom was young when she left her reservation in North Dakota. She arrived in Los Angeles in 1970. I've often wondered what her personal story, what were her hopes and dreams, what were her heartaches. I'll never know. She died tragically in Long Beach, California in 1998. Do you want to do this real quick? Do you want to introduce yourself and just talk about all the art? If you want. Yeah, you can just take the mic and walk or whatever you want to do. Yeah. So here we go.
Hello, my name is Angela Two Stars, and I am the curator of Bring Her Home, Stolen Daughters of Turtle Island. I am from the Sisseton Wahpeton Sioux tribe, and this is my second time being invited to come curate this exhibition. And the exhibition is focusing on the ongoing epidemic of missing and murdered Indigenous women and the increased trafficking of Indigenous people. So I have personal experience. My family has been through, having lost a loved one to this very, tragic experience, and so that was a catalyst for me and how I wanted the audience to experience this show, because when something terrible happens to a family, it still hurts. Years have gone by, and I thought about the audience that was coming to see the show, and I wanted them to be able to experience this in a safe place, to be able to experience those emotions, and also just raise awareness to the public on how this is an ongoing issue. And I'm so extremely happy to see the incredible artists that have contributed work to the show. We can walk around and I can highlight them to you. So this is Avis Charlie. She did this piece titled Trajectories, and this is a piece that's personal to herself, and I think it is a very wonderful piece that highlights the urban experience. Native American women that have left their homes, their reservations, and gone off to live in the cities and have gotten lost, whether by choices or bad things that would happen to them. And for Avis to create a piece that's so personal, it's just so beautiful, and it really addresses the urban natives. So I'm really happy that she was able to share a piece with us. I have these two dresses over here are from Marita Growing Thunder. She's an activist with MMIW. She created ribbon skirts that she sewed and wore every day of her senior year of high school. And so she shared these two pieces with us for this show. And the way that I have it displayed here in the gallery is that when a woman stands here, she becomes one of three. And the statistics that face Native American women is that 1 out of 3 will experience sexual assault or violence. So I had some thoughtfulness in the way I arranged these pieces in the show, yeah. Sure, yeah. I'm getting my picture taken. Thank you. So let's see, back here we have Michelle Defoe did this beaded piece right here. She was an artist that joined us tonight.
It's supposed to be better tomorrow.
So this one is called Trauma Healing Flower, and all of the colors represent different things. The blue represents water cleansing, tears and sweat, detoxifying emotionally and physically. The purple represents healing from and awareness of domestic violence that stemmed from boarding schools and resulted in the deterioration of our traditional family systems.
What was the artist's name?
This is Michelle Defoe. I know she was here. I'm not sure if she's still around. And then over here we have Linda Lagarde Grover. And this is called Red Ribbons for Loretta, #1 and #2. And Linda is actually an author, and she wrote a novel that's coming out shortly titled In the Night of Memory, and that tells the story of the disappearance of a Native woman and the effects on her family and community. And the piece in the center is by Wade Patton. It's called Her Journey, and it signifies her traveling through clouds on her journey. Let's see.
Yeah, let's keep going if you want.
Okay.
Everyone's probably really enjoying hearing about.
All right. Okay.
Feel comfortable doing that.
So, William Breen did this piece, Star of the Sea, and I know through his statement he had shared how he had just recently lost his wife, so he's experiencing a lot of grief. It's just coming out in his artwork, which is, you know, represented in kind of the fading of the flowers, and there's the, you know, the contrast between this side is like a healthy flowers, bright sun. On the other side is deterioration, fading. And then Choling Taha just does beautiful work. And this one's called The Forest Heals. And Choling herself was actually a displaced child. Her mom went missing when she was, I want to say, 2 or 3 years old. And so, you know, it's something that still affects her to this day. And so she created this piece. She was a featured artist of last year's show. And she did a new piece because, you know, this is just an ongoing thing, an ongoing experience for the artist. She's got little spirit people in the trees. And then down here is Christopher Sweet. He did this piece called Nations in Distress. So this just addresses how, you know, as Native women we're unseen, unheard, invisible to a society that wants only to disconnect from Mother Earth and be connected to an impatient, disrespectful future. So he's got the upside down flag. Refuse to be unseen, he says. There's so many out there too. This is a sweet little piece by Terry O'Connor called My Spirit is Still Here. It focuses on the wounds of the soul and the spirit. It's unraveling life's roadblocks, hardships and loss, healing wounds, changes to come, release and renewal of spirit. This one is John Quick to See Smith. It's titled Mother and Child. So part of my experience as a curator is I went through kind of 2 rounds of art selection. The first was selecting artists, like soliciting artists to be part of it, and these are artists that I admired and have looked up to, and Jean Quick to See Smith was one of the, well, she was the first female Indigenous printmaker that I was ever introduced to through my schooling. So to get her to be in my show is just incredible for me, you know. I'm kind of a fangirl.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful.
And Molly Murphy Addams is another featured artist. She did this piece called Epicenters and Impact. And this is done on a vintage map of Montana. And she has these little circles beaded through this map that highlight where Native women's bodies were found. And Montana's not a good place right now for Native women. Let's see. There's Choling. Hi, Choling. And Angela Babby did this new piece for us called Turtle Island War Party. Keawita, is it Ozuye? This piece is incredible because this is what I've been talking about with how do we advocate for change. That was one of the prompts that I gave to the artists, is how do we promote healing and how do we advocate for change. And I think Angela just really, you know, did a piece that addresses, you know, our future as Indigenous women, and highlighting people, our Native women in Congress and in state legislation. So this is just people that we are going to, they're creating the path for our Native youth, It's a beautiful, beautiful piece. And she's a featured artist of the show. Leah Yellowbird is another featured artist. She did this piece right here, and it's called "A Warrior is Never Alone." What's interesting about this piece is that it takes a while before you see the faces. They're hidden underneath there, much like our women are unseen, our missing women. And then she put the hand on there, which is the hand of the warrior. Our ancestors used to use them to paint the faces of their horses in battle. And then next she says she covered it in all the pretty. She said, you can't really see the missing women, and what you don't see, you don't care about, just like how it's been. But in reality, it just takes a few moments to educate yourself and join in the fight to find the missing and murdered women, and join the warriors to bring them home. So this is Leah Yellowbird. Another piece by Angela Babby. This is called Kiksuyapi, Remember, Don't Forget. And this one is about Wounded Knee. And she had said that, she's seen those pictures of Wounded Knee her whole life, but she never realized that the pile of blankets in the photo is actually 4 women, and one of them is a pregnant woman that was killed there. And then another piece by Avis Charlie, Remember Me This Way. And this is how she chooses to remember her mom, happy with her ancestors. And a reminder that they're always with her and she's never alone. So Avis is a featured artist, so she contributed a few pieces. And Wade Patton is another featured artist. He had the piece with the clouds in the back, and this one is called Keep Her Warm. And it's wool, elk hide, sinew, glass beads, horsehair, dentilium, and copper. And this is a blanket to keep her warm in her journey. And he kept 2 tassels missing to represent the missing Indigenous women. Yeah, I'm good, yeah. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm great.
Okay. Oh. And then Molly Murphy Addams did it, contributed another piece. So that was, as the featured artist, they were able to share more than one piece. And I selected a few pieces from some of the featured artists to be additions to the show. Robert Martinez did a really great piece called Not Just a Number. This is 1, 2, and 3. And he uses his style of ledger art to point out the statistics regarding violence against missing and murdered Indigenous women. And he wants to remind viewers to put a face to every single number. One more by Molly Murphy Addams. This is called 4 Generations. It's beadwork on photo etching. So she's another printmaker. So these 3 pieces are from Karen Goulet. She is another featured artist. And Karen was actually my curator coach from last year's show, because last year's show was the first show that I had ever curated. And I was invited by All My Relations to be the curator of this exhibition. And knowing that I had never done it before, they enlisted a coach for me to kind of walk me through the process and kind of learn the ropes. And so Karen was the person that walked through it with me, and so she came in this year as a featured artist. So she did these 3 pieces. The one on the left is called You Are My Sunshine, and in the middle is called Making a Storm. And the third one here is Wabanog, Morning Star. So this is called The Responsibility of Stars, and she did a little poem that I'll read for you guys. It says, whether you pray or don't pray, the stars exist. They remind us we are part of something much greater than what we experience on this earth walk. When we are struggling, it is not easy to remember this. For the Bring Her Home Stolen Daughters of Turtle Island exhibition, I wanted to use the traditional star quilt aesthetic in a way that could talk about the difficult and ephemeral of being in this world. You Are My Sunshine uses a favorite family song as a metaphor to talk about a relative who is missing and on the streets. I think of her and her family every day. Making a Storm honors all the individuals, groups, and families who are changing the narrative that has kept this epidemic invisible for centuries. It is a storm of change and healing. Wabanog, Morning Star, is a message to remember the ancestors love us and to make ritual that will renew our hearts during difficult days. And then down here we have Karen Savage Blue. She wrote a poem to go along with this called Secrets of the Nuthatch. It says, the nuthatch knows, as the truth creeps out of the crevices, well-hidden secrets come to light, secrets buried deep like the bodies of the murdered women, the bodies of our sisters. Disbelief will flood you as the count grows higher. Realization will hit you hard in the heart, knowing how many. We know the stories. Frustration will consume you as you ask why, the fate of our sisters, rage, then tears, then art. And the last one is right over here. It's Janice. Excuse me, ladies. I'm going to shoot her. Janice Rabideau. This is called Safe Place, and it's made out of turtle shell, rabbit fur, braided sweetgrass, rocks, buckskin, sinew, seed beads, metal hoop, wire, seder, siege, sweetgrass, tobacco, and human hair. So it's a pretty involved sculpture, you know, despite its small size. So she wrote that the little girl laying in the turtle shell is someone's daughter. She wears the hair of her grandmothers like a whispering crown of strength. She lays next to her 7 grandfathers, rocks of knowledge. She wears a medicine wheel and holds medicine inside to keep her well. Cedar, sage, sweetgrass, tobacco, Mother Earth, Turtle Island. Cradle her softly in this safe place to rest. A safe place so that she may come home. So that, I believe, is all the work here in the Bring Her Home show. So if you don't get a chance to come see it in person, you can see it here. But yeah, it's just been an incredible feeling, you know, just being here. It's very emotional.
You were saying earlier, though, it's like it's grown since you first got involved, but you feel like it's getting bigger. This is their 2nd year doing this, and
yes.
Like more interest?
Well, I think just, I think, like, you know, I started last year's show with this idea of focusing on the family, to be aware of the individuals. And this year, you know, part of the prompts that I asked the artists was, you know, think about the families that are affected, and how to create change. What does it mean to be missing? And this year, the artists that I selected, they had those same prompts to consider. And, you know, like say, like Angela's work right there. They're pushing it, you know, they're pushing for that change, they're pushing for that awareness, you know. I feel these artists that are part of this show are really, you know, talking about the urban narrative, you know, urban native narrative, and, you know, they're just continuing on the message that we started with last year's show, in an even more powerful, beautiful way. So it's, and I think also just because this is an issue that is ongoing, we're still affected, you know, it happens daily, and therefore the art is still able to be ongoing, to be able to talk about it.
How can people find out more about this online? Is there a place to go?
About the Bring Her Home show?
Oh, this is the gallery in general.
Oh, yeah, so it's All My Relations Arts is the gallery that the show is at. It's going to be here from today, February 14th, until June 21st. Last year's show, after it was, did its run at All My Relations, that actually traveled, and I think this show is going to be doing the same. And I think that's been a really wonderful thing, because then it can go out to other communities, because this is an issue that doesn't affect us just here in Minneapolis. It's, nationally, there's so many different stories. Every region has their women and their stories. So that's why it's so wonderful that this show can move from here to go to other places so that other audiences can see it and reach a broader audience.
Anything else you want to say?
I think just that I'm super humbled to be part of this, It's just been a wonderful experience. It's so personal and emotional for me, and I hope the audience, can enjoy the work and to be able to connect with it, and heal with it, and just feel those emotions that this invokes. So, yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much for talking. So, all right, everybody. I think I'll walk you around one more time. I assume that you probably want that. And then I'm going to go down again. This is Lorenzo with Unicorn Riot. I wanted to bring you to the All My Relations gallery here for the Bring Her Home Stolen Daughters of Turtle Island exhibit. Second year they're doing it, started on the 14th in correlation with the Murdered and Missing Indigenous Women's March you saw earlier. And also some folks here were helping make all these shirts. Like all of these different kind of places we brought you here the past few days are all interconnected, just like community-wise, and the people sort of working in these different spaces. So I'm just going to walk around really quick and see there's people everywhere. Hello, everybody. So if you want to come check it out, it'll be here till June 21st, you heard. Then it's going to travel. And I think I'm going to go down. I'm going to check my phone and see if anybody's talking to me, and then I'm going to say goodbye. So again, give me 1 second here. Jeez. Hold on 1 second. Hey Rory. Can you aim this at me for a second so I can shut it down? Just aim it. Just film me. Film me for a second.
Close it.
Okay. Oh, is it working?
Yeah.
You're
shadowing. In the light.
Is this a light? It's all live, so everyone's going to see me prance around. That's good? That's good?
Yeah,
it's okay.
Yeah, it's a little more light.
We're looking for light so I can take it down. Here, how about here?
Right there.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us again. I'm Lorenzo. I was your host. We wanted to bring you here to all the My Relations gallery so you can see this art exhibit that opened here. It's here till June 21st. If you were following us yesterday, we were at an art build, and then we were at a march earlier today. All of these events are interconnected, all coming from the Indigenous community. So if you want to support that community, you can come out to these events, come out to this gallery, check out what's going on. And again, thank you for joining us. Thanks to everybody on live stream, YouTube, Periscope, and I'm forgetting one. Live stream, YouTube, Facebook. That's the other one. Thank you. Oh, someone's thinking. Oh, thank you so much for joining us. It means a lot to everyone who liked and shared. And thanks to all of our donors who donated money to make it possible for us to do this stuff and bring you all this information at decent quality, I'm hoping. So, again, I'm Lorenzo. I was your host. Thanks for joining us. Share out this coverage the only way people see it, and just keep following us if you will. Thanks a lot.
Big Witch.
Big Witch.
Good job.
Thanks. What's your welcome? It's a
Gigawabu. See you later.
See you later. It's Gigawabu.
And then Boujou is or Anin.
Yeah, I gotta learn all these languages. All these.
Great, all the greetings.
All right, everybody, we're gonna take it down. Go ahead, stay on the studio.